Now we get to the lower high tier. This is where we get to the part of the tier list where I tell people, I still don't tell people to play these characters in competitive play, but I also wouldn't discourage it. Like, if you really like these characters, you can make it work. It's just, you're mostly fighting an uphill battle versus like the top tier section, but like at the same time, they're fine versus most of the field outside of like individually awful matchups, which, you know, it's ultimate, so almost every character has some atrocious matchup somewhere. But yeah, you're just looking at like you can win if you're just that much better than your opponent consistently tier of characters. Like, you don't just get hard stomped by matchups the way a lot of the mid tiers and below do. Starting off, we got Sheik. You know, she's just, she's Sheik. She's fast combos, but just don't mess up or you lose the game. Now, Duck Hunt. This is a character that people are gonna look, Dabuz, what the hell? And I'm gonna say the same thing as I said about Meat Gunner. I think this character is extremely underexplored. I think this character actually has a lot of potential because their walling is so good. Their trap steps are insane. I think Can being like a frame 1 or whatever combo break is really good. Like, if you like try running at Duck Hunt, it hits you with like a side B, you also just die, and that's very awkward. And this character basically gets to lock down a lot of the stage very easily. Character has a good combo game. Character is small, so it's hard to hit the character. Frame data is good. Buttons are like okay. And it's just a weird character that no one's very pushed because they're very weird. And like, I don't think the character is outdoing like, you know, top tier characters even at its peak. But yeah, I think if this is like a sleeper strong character that even has some very good like high tier matchups. Like, I'm pretty sure like this character destroys Peach, Diddy Kong. I think Samus is another hard one. Like, this character is some, like, why do you win this matchup type matchups? Sephiroth. Now, depending who you ask, this character is awful or like okay. And my thoughts on this character is polarizing. Where his bad matchups, which is most of the top tiers, are awful. But then he also just kind of destroys characters that aren't like fast and they're small. Because he's just so much range, especially if the character can't kill easily, Wing is stupid. So he's actually an insanely good counterpick character. Shulk, potential swordman. Clearly good character. Never really got results. I think Elijah Man's got some decent stuff this year. But like, clearly just a solid character, even if the results don't say it. Same with Pokemon Trainer. Although, Pokemon Trainer's thing is people drop the character because of all the strong zoners in the meta. And that's where Pokemon Trainer's biggest weakness is getting past zoners. Think about Lucina, you know, Mrs. just high tier girl. I always have a low opinion on Lucina compared to most people. I think just being well-rounded in Ultimate's very bad. Especially when like your niche is just done a lot better by other characters, in this case being sword character. So yeah, she's just tier. And Sora. I know a lot of people look at this and think I'm underrating Sora. I think this character actually is really similar to Sephiroth in the sense that his good matchups are good. Like, him versus heavyweight characters is really nice. Him versus like Rob is a good matchup for him. He's good versus like Wario. I'm just looking at the roster. I love playing Sora, so I'm biased towards him. But then like his bad matchups are awful. Like him versus Fox, Greninja, Palutena. Well, not unwinnable. Or Bayo is another one actually. That one's actually winnable maybe. But like they're not generally unwinnable. But you're playing such an uphill battle, and you're playing an uphill battle consistently because he struggles with characters that have good combo breaks and are just really fast and hard to hit. And welcome to top tiers in Ultimate. And then Terry. Terry has the same issue as like Ken does, but as a better character where he's really good at one thing, which is up close he kills you. And he's really good at getting up close because he's fast, he has some bursty options, but like the characters that don't let him get up close, or the characters that are like god up close like Luigi, are just so prevalent and really just either don't let him play the game or are too good at playing the game for him. So I don't feel like he has a niche nowadays, even though he is like a clearly like good kit. It's like I've just seen so many brackets where it's like, oh, yep, Riddle is fighting on a winnable matchup. All right, me Brawler. I feel like this character is one that everyone knows is good, but we haven't really seen results. But it's like fast character, good buttons, good combos, cheese factor, customizable moveset, like fine character. But I will admit the character is not done as well as I've expected over the years. He's kind of dropped in my mind. I think I put him upper highs here before. Toon Link. This character is actually so good. And while I don't think he ever breaks past this lower high tier, I don't think he ever reaches like the next echelon. He's had a long glow up, in my opinion, from being like, hey, he's low tier, maybe he's mid tier. It turns out being fast, having good combos, including good kill confirms, having a great projectile game, a good recovery, 2-frame air dodge, and all this on a small, evasive character with a butter knife, not really a sword, is pretty good. He's a weird character to pilot because you have to be on point with a lot of your confirms, and like the lack of just a generically good spacing aerial is a huge issue. But in exchange, like, he actually has a really big list of strengths. It's just he doesn't have an answer to something like cloud back airing that isn't at indirect, like run back, pull up bomb with punish. Like lacking that big sortie forward air or neutral air that other sorties have really hurts him. But wow, otherwise, this character has been doing pretty well more recently. And it's like, it's just really clear, like, oh, he's been underrated for a while. And now Greninja. It's funny, go from underrated to overrated. Greninja's not bad. It's just he's whatever. Like, bad at a shield game in Ultimate is just, even with the existence of parries, bad at a shield game is just too killer in this game. Wolf is, yeah, I think he's just fine. Like, there's even like a lot of specific strengths and weaknesses. He's just a well-rounded character that's good. And well-rounded characters that are good don't really cut it nowadays. And then Zero Suit. I think this character is weird. I think really campy lame Zero Suit is still quite strong, but no one's willing to play her that way. The fact that she's like actually good in the Steve is a testament to how good she can be when she's playing super lame and abusing her ability, abusing the length of her Zaire, abusing like how safe her pressure can be. But admittedly, she's right below the upper high tier section. Like there's that big gap because she can't compete with like the fast small characters consistently, or like the characters that create these really hard to approach walls, even if she's one of the best characters in the game at navigating around all that stuff, and her disadvantage state doesn't exist. All right, upper high tier. This is where you get to good characters. This is where you get to good characters that still have the issue of they get absolutely blocked in bracket by like certain insanely broken characters. Like, this is where if I was like making like, you know, a game and I want to balance characters, I balance them around the upper high tier characters who have very strong kits that still have defined weaknesses that are generally not so exploitable that they ruin the character, but are like create interesting game plans generally, both with the character and against them. Starting off with his Ness. This character is consistently good through Ultimate. I don't care what people say, I don't care if people say he's mid tier, gets walled out, whatever. He's just been consistently good in Ultimate due to just frame data, kill power, combos, Pika Fire's great move, etc. And then Corrin, she was obviously doing well last year with Shattuck going crazy. This year Shattuck's been like not focusing on Smash, so her results have dipped. Still clearly a good character. But at the same time, she's just like good sword girl, which she's really good at just being big hitbox sword girl, but that still is not quite enough to push her higher than this. Pikachu. If you're willing to play like shiny mark levels of just run away, great character, and you kind of have to, because I think this character is bad outside of just getting a tiny lead and just timing people out, which is a very strong win condition. But it means this character is pretty bad at playing from behind, especially because this character doesn't trade well due to lightweight status, multi-hits that are all individually weak, and just a lot of issues with the character. But god, this character is impossible to hit and has some crazy combos on certain characters. Now Mega Man. I'm actually glad Peepnut's gone so crazy with this character, because I thought this character's good for a while, but it's always like, he's good, but he's not getting the results. But now Peepnut's doing well, I'm like, alright, I could justify saying Mega Man's very good. Another one of those zoners that like is really good at zoning, but he also has an extremely good set of sword-based moves to accommodate the zoning. Like you get past like his projectiles and his setups and how good Leaf Shield is and like all that stuff, and then he's just like keeping out with like forward air, back air, and it's really hard to deal with. Add in some really good kill confirms with like metal blade into up tilt, a good grab game, a great recovery, being heavy for his size, good mobility, and you actually have an extremely good zoner that is also good at mid-range like sword play and some explosive power. And then you got Pac-Man on the other end of the spectrum, which is a zoner that is really good at boxing. Like, he doesn't have a sword, obviously. He doesn't have the most power unless hit with like a bell and a forward smash. But like, you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get past like, you know, the Pac-Man Hydra and the fruits and stuff. And then he's just boxing around. You're like, why are his buttons so good? But it's not as good, of course, as Mario, who's another character that is really good at one thing, which is he gets you into a combo and kills you. His up close buttons are stupid. And yeah, I will say with that said, it's also, he's gotten worse over time, in my opinion, because he's just up close buttons are stupid character, but he's not like touch of death thing you generally stupid. He's just like lots of damage output, pretty good kill power. And I think that runs an issue. Either he gets walled out due to his poor range, or he just gets out like comboed. Hero. This is a character that this character took so long for people to get good with, I think. But like as people got better with the character, it's really clear like sword character with buffs that force you to approach into big hitboxes is good. He's really weird because like his mobility isn't great without Accelerato. Like he has some really awful matchups like Rob apparently, and like he's just a really awkward character to handle. But you get a character that kind of hits like a heavyweight, but is still a swordy zoner buff character, and like that's just on paper is a lot. Then Olimar, just forever Olimar is the like he's pretty good, but he gets outclassed type of high tier nowadays. Like, yeah, he has good results consistently. He has a decent matchup spread, but it's like he has a decent matchup spread where he just has a lot of, in my opinion, slight losing matchups to top tier characters. So it's like there's almost never a good Olimar bracket at like top level, even though it's hard for him to have an awful bracket. And then Ryu is kind of like Mario, where he's just such a good character up close. His entire game plan is building out close, except he has a good fireball game, which granted, Mario does too. I should mention Mario's fireball is good, but Ryu's fireball game is legitimately good enough that he's like a part-time zoner, and he can use that part-time zoning to get in and kill people. Heavyweight focus is really good. He just kills extraordinarily easy. His buttons are really scary. Like, he's so focused on getting in by either just running at you or using fireball to like approach behind that characters that can deal with that just shut him down. But because his fireball and his buttons are so good, most characters can't shut him down, and then he's just horrifying. And they fight Steve. And then Yoshi, yeah, this character I think has just been like doing good for like a long time now. Like he's a solid character, good buttons, good movement, heavyweight, annoying, but always kind of struggles with like the big disjoints, which a lot of the good characters have. But yeah, he's pretty good what he does. Peach Daisy. These characters are funny because like I always call these characters bad because I don't think these characters, I do think these characters are losing stock. Even now I put them here and I'm like, I actually think I want to drop them below Ryu, to be honest. I'm like, they're still good, but they've really fallen off in my head, and because they just don't have the ability to approach. Like Turnip isn't a good enough tool to get them in, and their like mobility is kind of subpar and their buttons are kind of okay. So like, even though their combos are insane, and they have like a lot of other good things, like it good recovery, Turnip is a good mechanic, like float's broken, it's just not enough nowadays when a lot of characters hit harder or are too fast or like too big hitboxed. I'm gonna make that word up for the princesses. And then Wario, yeah, he's just a good character. Waft is broken, of course, not much else to say, otherwise he wouldn't be that great. And now people can look at this and go, what is Falco doing here at the Buzz? What's happening? And I will say this, I think Falco is extremely good. Clearly I put him up here. I think he's a character that I've seen the Falco players starting to push this character more, and it's like, wait, why is he actually so good? Like, combo game is obviously insane. He has insane damage output, kill confirms, and like any percent up tilt is an extraordinarily over-tuned move. His up tilt actually is way too good. But then like down tilt to kill move, and he can combo into it with drag downs easily. His throw game is great. His double jump being so high allows him to have a good recovery generally, a good edge guarding game, good juggling, chasing. Like his jump height being so high does so much for him, combined with lingering aerials that can kill or combo and have decent hitboxes. He also has some really annoying hurtbox shifting on a lot of moves that's not really talked about. And his laser's annoying. Like, he's not top tier or anything, although he's very close to it. And I think what keeps him out of top tier is the fact that he is a spacey that isn't overwhelming on the level of a character like Fox, so he can just get hit and die. But the initial draft of this list, I actually did have him top tier. And I can see a future where he is, but I do think his recovery and his poor hitboxes while not being extremely fast is going to hold him back. And finally, we got the top tier. Now, I will say, this is the top tier section. These are the characters to beat. These are the characters I think that like run the meta, run the brackets. You have to be ready for them. Like, you have to kind of like build matchup charts and heavily weight characters matchups towards these guys. But these characters are all funny because they all still have a few matchups that are really bad because this is Ultimate. Even great characters have some rough matchups. And to me, what separates these characters from the tiers above them later on is that you can still have brackets with these characters that are just like, all right, GG, moving on. So getting into it, got Palutena, Gatekeeper top tier, you know, people that say she's falling off, whatever. No, she's good. Even though I put her at the bottom of top tier because she's like the least scary of them. She's just such, she has been like since day one the really reliable character. Now, Luigi has gotten so much better over the past year. As Luigi players that push his character, it's like, what? This character's stupid. He kills so easily. Everything he has turns into a kill combo or billion damage. His fireballs, why does he have good zoning? His zoning is like better than real zoners. Like Fireball is so good. Zera is so good. Right? So like, you have to fight into him because he's going to zone you out and use that zoning to get close, kind of like Ryu. But he's going to kill you. He also has ridiculous combo break with, I believe it's frame 1 combo escape down B, which means all your non 100% guaranteed combos aren't good on him. His bombs are just stupid. They're really good at shield. They're fast, no lag. His recovery is a lot better than people realized. Like, it is issues, and that's his biggest weakness, is his recovery in general disadvantage state. But it clearly isn't enough because we're seeing a lot of Luigi's doing well, and it helps that like even against like Steve, he has a decent matchup somehow, which is crazy. I think Luigi has a decent Steve matchup. But yeah, I feel like if your character fights up close, you auto lose to Luigi. If you're a sortie, you struggle because like you'll keep him out and make one mistake and you die. And if you're a zoner, you're not even out zoning him hard enough to just like win. So that's, he could honestly be even higher, but you know, he's been doing really well this year and I want to see if it like does well into next year. All right, Bayo. Just really good character, clearly. She's like mini Sonic in that she's really good because she's so good at playing lame, but also has an insane combo game. With that said, she's not good interacting, so like a lot of her strengths is just can't hit her. She bursts you down, runs away, punches you out of shield, combos you, edge guards, run away again. All right, Roy. This is another one of those characters like Palo that's just been kind of clearly really good since release. Goes to show you, like really good frame data on a sword with insane combos and extremely high kill power is really nice. And I always tell people, the difference of Roy's recovery being actually good, even though it's exploitable, and Crom's recovery being like the worst in the game, is worth this much of a tier gap. Like, you know, there's still issues both characters have. Also helps that Roy just, he hits so hard with his combos and kill confirms. Like what you can get off jab, especially in the corner, is insane. Nair is also a great move. Like, God, this character is just so overwhelming. Even though there are some matchups like Kazuya where it's just like, well, GG. Next up, Samus. She might be a weird pick here, honestly, because I think nobody talks about Samus, and I think it's one of those things where she has consistently good results among multiple players. And I always, I feel like I see Samus players make consistently good bracket runs, even though they don't win things, because she's a zoner that also does other things. Like, she's a zoner with great combos, great edge guard, great ledge trapping, good poking buttons, like a great grab. Like, she is a zoner that's also really good at just playing a general smash, and charge shot such a busted move. Up B shows also really strong. honestly, your only issue is that like the Steve matchup is awful. I think if the Steve matchup didn't exist, I could put her on top 5. But like that character alone shuts it down. I guess Olimar's very bad for her, but like Olimar's not really that common anymore. Yep, Joker, Mr. Top Tier. Nothing's really changed. Like, I feel like his results have gotten a little bit worse. He's actually barely outside of my top 10 in this current list because I think he struggles with the characters like Sonic or Game & Watch or Steve that can like just play, I mean not Game & Watch, but like Sonic and Steve or Snake even, where it's like characters that can be really hard to like approach and stay in on are rough for him, especially because he has to do things when he has Arsene. But you know, he's been a really good character since release for a reason. Fast combos, you name it. And Fox, I'm barely outside the top 10. This character especially is such an insane character. I think this character is so insane, and I think it's really not talked about enough how much he can shut down a lot of characters because he's just overwhelmingly fast with broken frame data, insane combos, you name it. But when you fight a character that you just can't get in versus, like Steve, or a character that just kills you in one hit, like Steve, or a character with really good edge guarding, like Steve, you're seeing where I'm going here. But yeah, like characters that don't mind him being up close or can keep him from getting there are very few, but they absolutely shut him down. And to me, that's what keeps him outside of the top 10, even though he's really good. And then moving into the top 10, we start Diddy Kong, and this character is, Banana's so good. Like, God, Banana's so good. Banana like does, like, it's kind of like Fox in the sense that there's one weakness for the character. That is, if you can deal with Banana well, like if your character specifically does not care about Banana much, Diddy Kong stinks. But so few characters have some sort of mechanic that just ignores Banana. And in those instances, which is most of the roster, Diddy Kong is just so safe and so hard to hit and gets a lot of turns to press you basically for free. And then we got Cloud, just big sword man. He's so funny because like on paper you wouldn't think he's that good due to how simple he is. Just big sword goes burr. Limit's pretty good. In practice, big sword, fast character, and limit mechanic are overtuned enough that overwhelming. Like I think on paper his kit's fine, but in practice his range, speed, damage output, kill power, you name it, is just all a little too overtuned that like he's playing a different game of Smash than the other characters also playing Smash. Even though he can struggle with characters that don't play Smash, like Min Min. Yeah, this is the character. Yeah, I play this character. She's kind of insane. Yeah, she's just polarizing. Like her bad matchups are bad. Her good matchups are just obscenely good. She basically has very few even matchups. And I think the big thing is Dormigi has already pushed her edge guarding game. She's just crazy. Like if she hits you and gets right opening, you will get edge guarded off like any random hit. Like even if your recovery is insane, even if you're a character that's not supposed to get edge guarded, she can edge guard you. And add on to the fact that she just has massive buttons, great like her anti-air game is a little bit sus, but I think it's not as bad as people make it out to be because like dragon there, up tilt, up smash, up air, and just generally spacing her arms around jump-ins anyway. Dash X stupid, down tilt, I can just go on. All of her buttons are really good is what I should say. Like for a zoner, she really can fight up close and turn fighting up close into insane zoning. And then I think her getting a buff for her dragon arm where she grabs people is just an extra cherry on top that pushes her into unbelievable territory. But she's not as good as Wins Neutral, the character. But that's it. I don't care. This character has a exploitable recovery. You know, the character can struggle with it a little bit versus characters that are also rigged up close because she is a sword character. And Pyro's projectile isn't really like a projectile in the sense of like spammable or anything. But when your character is built to just be fast and win neutral with massive buttons, like it just comes down to the fact that the reason this character isn't like god tier is because the recovery is poor and because people naturally make mistakes, and one mistake with this character can be really devastating. But like at the same time, if the opponent doesn't make like a clearly big mistake, there are games with this character, especially without playing like another top tier character, where it doesn't feel like you got to actually play the game. And then rounding out this section is Kazuya, who is probably the most polarizing character in this section list, to be honest. But he's polarizing in the sense that most characters just lose to him. Like, most characters actually just can't consistently keep him out because Electric's so dumb. And if your character actually has to fight, oh, forget about it. So, like, there's a very small pool of characters that can, like, actually outfight him well enough or wall him out well enough to not auto-lose. And those characters tend to be very hard for Kazuya because then it goes polarizing the other way where it's like, oh, he can't play his game plan. But for most matchups, it's literally like the opponent has to time him out for a reason. And I feel like I always see new local or regional Kazuya players breaking out events, causing upsets for a reason. Because, man, Electric, good move. And then, yeah, moving on, we got Rob. Yeah, Mr. Rob. He's interesting because he's actually not that polarizing. But I feel like if you have, like one of those, like, charts of character strengths, like neutral, edge guarding, combos, whatever, he would be a 9 out of 10 in literally every single category. Maybe even a 10 out of 10 in frame data and combos. Right? He's not breaking the scale of broken out shield options or like the best projectile in the game. But whatever your character does, I think Rob does better. And then we got Snake. Just God, as Snake players got so much better. The grenade walls genuinely feel impossible for a lot of characters to break through. Like, how are you supposed to beat a character that can create a projectile that combo breaks and lets him trade favorably with you, while also this projectile controlling space and just doing all these different things? And then he has other trap tools, and he also has a good up close game, especially because like down tilt's so insane, but up tilt also is stupid. It's like, dang, when people say like, why does the zoner also just fight? Like, they're supposed to zone. This is what they mean, I feel like. Because it's like, wait, why is Snake a better boxer than most boxing characters, whilst being like the best zoner in the game? But even then, I think there's a huge gap between these characters and the next two. And Game & Watch and Sonic. Whoa. Yeah, this shouldn't be a surprise. This character has just been a menace for so long. Up here, shield alone is genuinely invalidating. Combined with Nier, and just like, you know, he games you watch. It is really hard to find characters that don't auto lose to just up B, Nair, and some forward air walling. Not even counting like his edge guarding game, his combo game, whatever. And then Sonic. Yeah, he's one of the, yep, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. Good luck fighting him. Man. No, I will say with this character at least, this character does have some more matchups that I think are kind of rough for him. Because characters with good projectile games that can like deal with spin dash kind of safely are hard for him, because like he's still really good up close. He still has great buttons, but he doesn't have these like super overtuned up close buttons, especially if you're forcing him to approach at like angles and times that you can play around. It's just that a lot of characters can't deal with him when he has a lead, and a lot of characters don't have an answer for good spin dash play. Also, people don't talk about this. I think Sonic dash attack is super broken. And I feel like when I do coaching, one of the biggest things I tell people is use Sonic dash attack as a whiff punish more than spin dash. It's so good at that. And his advantage state's so good that any hit is all you need. And finally, do I have to explain it? Steve tier. Yeah, he's Steve. He's, I think the only thing to talk about with him is he has gotten even better relative to the rest of the cast over time. Like, he has had his own tier for a while now. I generally think there is a whole tier gap between Steve and like the rest of the cast. As more Steve players are doing well at events, his matchups are getting more polarizing, and tech is still freaking figured out like faster than any other character's tech. God, this character is insane. I have gotten to the point that I think of all the top tiers in Smash, I actually think Steve might be the strongest relative to the rest of the cast in his respective game. But that's a crazy take, I know. Anyway, with that said, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Was I yapping too long? No, I'm kidding. You're here to watch and hear me yap, I know. But yeah, guys, that's my 2025 tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye. Assuming I actually upload more on YouTube, which maybe I should. But anyway. you know, if you want me to upload, give me ideas for things to talk about. Okay, for real, bye.